Hello guys, my name is Rizky from acreativealt, and in this video, I'm going to share with you how to convert your phone into a full-fledged content production tool. I'm one of the person who believes that in the future, all our content productions, video productions will actually be done on our phone. And of course, the question is, who would hire a professional video producers like us in the future? I do believe this will actually replace our professional camera in the future, at least for most kinds of video productions. Although, of course, some of the extremely high-end productions will still be using a proper camera. But for many of us who are in the video production industry, I think it's really important for us to start learning to produce content using our phones. One thing about producing content on a phone is the fact that it has to be done really fast. One of the things that I really like to do is actually to do a behind-the-scene Insta story. For some of you guys who follow me on Instagram, you've probably seen some of my behind-the-scene Insta story. I really love those because the fact that I can create something really fast. I do it almost every day. I will actually have some sort of a behind-the-scene showreel by the end of the year, which is, I think, something that is really useful for many of us in the video production line. First thing is that what kind of a phone that you should use. Obviously, it's just like buying a camera. You buy one that your budget allows. I'm still using a pretty old Huawei phone. Regardless what kind of phones that you have, what I would suggest is to get a phone that has multiple lenses built in. Avoid all those attachments that you need to put in, because most of that, and I don't think any of those are actually good lenses. So an example, on my Huawei phone, I actually have 3 lenses, which is similar to the lenses that we always use for our day-to-day video productions. That covers all the focal length that you need. So I just want to show you a quick behind the scene on how I would actually use this to create content for my Insta story. So I'm going to start by an introduction, an example, maybe start it with a selfie video. So hello guys, back in the office, and today I'm going to give you a quick behind the scene on how I produce my YouTube content. I will do a short footage like that, and then I will combine it with multiple different footages. So an example, let's say I'll take some shots of the camera that I'm using to shoot this. To shoot this YouTube video, you can see still my favorite affordable camera, which is the Sony A6400. The lights. Then I'm gonna add a bit of shots of the microphone that I love to use. And then maybe a couple of shots of my backdrop. One thing about shooting a video on your phone, of course you can always access the pro mode that most phones has nowadays. But if you want to do a quick one, I think the best way is just to simply lock your exposure and focus so that the settings on your phone stays the same and it doesn't change the white balance, doesn't change the focus, and so on and so forth. And once you have all the shots that you need, the next thing to do is actually to have an editing app on your phone. My current favorite now is actually called VN. You can use the free versions for most cases. If you need to have more things, then of course you need to purchase for the license. I find the app is really intuitive. So if you are familiar with any types of video editing softwares, I do believe you can pick up this app really fast. You can add text, you can add music, and so on and so forth. So once you have completed it, you can just simply export it out as a video format, export out as MP4, and use it for your Insta story or your TikTok or YouTube Shorts. I think it's a really good practice for anyone who are actually picking up video productions. So in fact, this is actually one of the exercises that I like to give to my new colleagues when they just join the company. I will ask them to do some practice with the phone first. Simply just record some daily activities. I think all the composition theory is still the same, whether you are actually producing on a phone or a proper camera. You still need to think about camera angle, still need to think about your camera movement, and so on and so forth. So with that, I hope this video is useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I see you next time.